Hello, happy Friday, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the first match of the semifinals race between Rascalnicough and ScrubCasual in the Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup tournament. Both of these runners have definitely earned their spot here. Rascal going 12-2 through this whole tournament thus far, and taking out one of the tournament favorites, Adirondack Rick, and ScrubCasual took out Dracaris in the previous round. So both of them are on their way. Found a hammer in Link's house. I am Lumaga, and with me in the booth is Days Cloud. Days Cloud, how you doing?
Doing great. Looking forward to this great semi-final matchup here. This would be game one, I believe, and so that means we're looking at an open 7-7, right?
Indeed. Game one is always going to be open 7-7, and quick map check, looked like we had a green pendant on Eastern, so there's a vanilla, had a regular crystal at Desert, and a 5-6 on Hera. So that hammer, going to help him out as a good early weapon.
Yeah, definitely. That's something where you can go directly into escape here if that's something that Scrub decides to do.
Well, while he's doing that, looks like Rascal is finding the Moon Pearl in the Lost Woods, so both starting positions paying off so far.
Looks like Scrub just took his 3 bombs there from the Uncle chest and decided to nope out and gonna go explore the rest of it. Now, we've got a great tree pull there. There's big 20s coming off of everything right now, so money's not going to be an issue for these guys early.
Yeah, just have enough to pay the bottle vendor, and if you need to, buy some bombs in Kakariko. We'll see if anybody decides to, visit Zora early on, if they get enough cash. But definitely looking good so far.
Yeah, that Moon Pearl will really make it nice for them if that's something that they want to do, because, you'll be able to pull off a fake flipper and be able to check the waterfall cave without really any issue there at all. So, and looks like Scrub is going to take a little bit of extra time to go ahead and get these extra tree pulls here. We're going to get our first bush crab check, and looks like he's just giving us hearts, so he's not particularly helpful today.
And not having any bombs from the Lost Woods, Rascal checked the back of the tavern to try and find some for free. And an ice rod up in the lumberjack. Interesting.
Well, that's a thing. Now, don't know if that's needed yet, but we already know what one pendant is. So if Turtle Rock turns out to be a crystal there, well, it looks like we're doing agate today.
Definitely will have to. So, yeah, as I was saying, went to go buy the bombs so that he can take care of the chicken hut and the 2 bomb locations in Kakariko. Still has enough money for the bottle vendor, who today is selling a bit of love. So, good heart container.
I kind of like how this has worked out for Scrub, because he's going to be walking into Kakariko with a few more bombs than Rascal is right now. This is kind of the fun part about doing the Uncle Start, is you get that additional tree pull, which can really help you out there, as unfortunately Rascal finds out that the bombs were behind a bomb wall. So he gets a sword though, so that's nice.
Also picking up flippers, so very handy. 2 really good items.
Yeah, those tree pulls at this point are starting to look like they might actually be necessary. We'll get our first look here into Blind's hut and the 5 chests that we've got inside here. We're going to push a few blocks out of the way just so that we can find a piece of heart. The first shield, our little plastic shield, a little bit more money, and a lamp. Okay. So knowing that ice rod is available there, that is on the lumberjack.
So it sounds like you're thinking exactly what I am, is as soon as they find a master sword and or maybe even the cape, anytime they if they find out that Turtle Rock is a crystal, they can go ahead and rush Aga. Of course, they would need the boots to get that off of the lumberjack tree.
Yeah, this could turn into a whole mess. Like, it's a good thing that you know where the ice rod is, but
Careful
quite a
what you
few
wish for.
items to get it. Yeah.
All right, library didn't seem like it was anything today.
Yeah, it looks pretty empty here on the south side of Hyrule. Now, the one thing to kind of keep in mind, if I remember right, ScrubCasual was the only one to walk up and actually see that ice rod. Right now, Rascal is going to be sitting there not having that information.
Yeah, he did go straight into the Lost Woods after starting at the Sanctuary. And if knowledge is power, well, ScrubCasual's in a really good position as far as that goes. But, you know, if it is required, Rascal will probably funnel himself into it one way or another.
You hope so, but the problem with that being an ice rod is that is the one item that can, well, one of a couple of items that can be almost anywhere in the game, and if this devolves into what would be an ice rod hunt, having that information is just going to be a massive advantage for Scrub right now. But it's still early, so like you said, he might work his way back there pretty easily.
Now, he did not save and quit out of the Uncle cavern here, so looks like he's going to be the first to go into escape. Having a sword and a hammer, he's very well set for it, and it's a good quick 3 items to check.
And definitely, it's saying you're really only looking for your Dark World access at this point. So for Rascal, and both Scrub and Rascal at this point, it's your choice between either a cape, a sword, or one of the gloves. And if you get any of those items, you can get into the Dark World right now. That's
it was either going to be escape or what ScrubCasual is doing, checking out, you know, some of the water locations, Hobo, and maybe even stopping over at the Ice Rod Cave, circling back to Mini Moldorm. Could check the waterfall at this point, but he may not want to go up there not having enough yet for Zora.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there with 350 and you've got flippers. I feel like that would be something you'd probably want to put off just in case there. Especially when there's a 300 sitting in the escape sequence right there. So Rascal's going to have all the money he needs for the rest of the game at this point.
Yeah, just about. He's got enough for Zora. Gonna certainly run into a few more rupees for things like Pod or Smith, but ScrubCasual is going to follow suit and also head up to Escape, so he'll be all set for money as well.
Kind of an interesting route there, jumping into the water, checking Hobo, and then heading back into Escape.
Yeah, we still have all of South Shore to check. Nobody's checked Dam or Mini Moldorm, and between the two of them, that's 7 items. They've both opted to go for a bit of a slower few checks, including Rascal headed to Dark Cross.
I mean, the Dark Cross, it makes sense right now. You don't know where that glove is going to be. You've got the key to the sewers right now in your possession, so you can just go all the way back. So he'll be able to get, I think, a full 4 items from back here, because I believe we saw the map up front.
We did see the map. I believe it was in Zelda's cell. Dark Cross today, just with the 10 arrows. So hopefully there's something a bit more valuable for Rascal in back of Escape to make this worthwhile.
Yeah, this is always a bit of a walk. It feels kind of slow, but if it pays out, it's something that you're going to do, especially if you're thinking that you might have to be doing Aga. This is not a check you're going to leave behind. And he'll make his way over to the bomb wall, kill a couple of rats who seem to only be dropping hearts on their damage table today. And we'll find just some bombs, a piece of heart, and the Quake medallion. So one thing good.
Yeah, Quake could definitely be worthwhile. Still need to know what those two dungeons are, if they are crystals or pendants, and then Quake could open one of them.
Yep. And ScrubCasual there taking his little bomb-assisted death warp there to go back, and he'll do the same exact checks I think that Rascal just showed us. So the new information is going to be coming from Rascal here. So looks like first stop on his journey here is going to be the dam. Push a couple blocks out of the way. He's going to go and pull the plug first here and drain the water. So only gets 10 arrows out of it there. So Lumag, I got a question for you here. What's your favorite opening for open mode? Never mind, hold on a second. Rascal has found the glove and he's now got Dark World access.
Yeah, with that hammer, that glove, and that moon throw, he can go just about anywhere. What was the rest of your question? I'm curious.
It was just what's your standard opening for an open mode seed like this, a 7/7 open mode seed?
Normally I would do kind of what Scrub did, go to Uncle, and then check out Sanctuary, Lost Woods, and Kakariko. If I found a weapon, it's definitely Escape, just to get that out of the way and get some peace of mind. And depending on what my item set is, if I have enough bombs or a good enough weapon, I'll do Mini Moldorm Cave shortly thereafter. So Mini Moldorm Cave, having a bottle and a hook shot, and a few more just junk items. But bottle's nice. We can check Sick Kid when we inevitably head back to Kakariko, and that hook shot going to be quite useful.
Definitely, we gotta. I imagine we're going to be seeing Ice Rod Cave over here on Rascal's side, and before going up to Zora there, that one heart. It's not the most comfortable way to come over to this part of Hyrule, because you've got these friendly little crabs who always like to get in the worst possible places, and they will kill you with extreme prejudice.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you try and take your time, they have kind of an erratic movement, so just give them quite a wide berth and don't come anywhere near them. So in the Ice Rod Cave, you got the blue mail, which will help with the damage, but not a whole lot of progression. I would imagine we're going to see, the Dark World soon, especially since, no immediate reason to go to like Sahasrara or Eastern at this point. No bow, it's a green pendant. I would imagine Dark World is high on the priority list.
Oh, definitely. That at this point, I would be very surprised if anyone puts it off past this. I'm actually kind of curious to see what Scrub will do here in just a second, because he could just walk out. Or not. I was saying he could walk out of the Mini Moldorm Cave and go directly to that Dark World portal and go check Hype Cave in just a second. Looks like he decided to save and quit and restart over at Link's house here.
He may end up checking Hype Cave, but he is going to skip out on that blue mail, at least for now. Who knows if he'll end up over there once he picks up a flute. But ScrubCasual will be the first into Dark World and give us our first look at the Hype Cave, which is sometimes hype.
And more importantly, it's a map check, and that is a pendant on Turtle Rock and a pendant up on Pod. So that ice rod sitting in the lumberjack is not going to be necessary unless this is a ped seed.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the other 5/6 was in Swamp Palace. So great to have found the flippers and the hammer and the hookshot at this point. Just need the mirror, and then you can make your way in there at any time you'd like. As for Hype Cave, just a bit of junk, and more junk. So, great Hype Cave today.
But over on Rascal's side, the Waterfall Fairy had the flute there, so that is a big find for early. here, and he's going to make his way the rest of the way up to Zora, and we'll get to see what's on the waterfall ledge here, and that's just 20 rupees. And also, now it's time to go see what the big fish has got for us. Any predictions?
I've seen some doozies lately, so if I'm going to make any prediction, it's going to be, $20 or less. So we're looking at a 1, a 5, or a 20.
I'm going to say Ether Medallion.
Ooh, that's bold.
Yeah, go big, right? That's wrong.
It's not very valuable anyway, but quarter piece of heart off of Zora, and ScrubCasual now making his way through the south and west part of Dark World. Must have gone through the Stumpy area. I did not see what he had. Does not look like the tracker is any different, so I'm going to assume nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty much anything there. It's just what it is. Going through the dig game here, that is quite a number of digs there. We've got a lot of red rupees. That's kind of nice. And a 300 is your prize for what looked to be like 27 digs or something.
That must have been the maximum, or just maybe one short of the maximum. But hey, you earned that 300 rupees.
Yep, feel happy about yourself here. And ScrubCasual having a little menu hiccup there with starting at Link's house, deciding immediately to save and quit again and go, no, I wanted to go to Sanctuary. And off he goes.
Yeah, happens to all of us. I would guess with the glove and the lamp and the hammer and hookshot, good time to go to Death Mountain here. So whereas Rascal is going to explore more of the Dark World, we're going to get our look at Death Mountain, Old Man, and Paradox Cave.
Yeah, looks like there's a pretty good chance Hera is going to be our first crystal today. Hopefully we'll get to see a pretty nice clean fight there. No crazy trolly Moldorm fights or anything. Maybe one of these guys will show us off a nice Hera pot trick as well. Who knows? We could find mitts up here and all sorts of things as ScrubCasual walks down, takes a look at a hole, and then turns around and goes, yeah, right, I meant to take a left.
You ever watch Looney Tunes? It kind of reminds me of Bugs Bunny saying he should have taken a left at Albuquerque.
Yep. I was thinking the same thing. Now we're in slow motion mode for a minute here as the old man gives us 10 arrows, and now it's time to dodge some green cabbages.
Yeah, so without the mirror,
good job.
still check Spectacle Rock and the top of it, but then going to have to drop down and do the hookshot over across the broken bridge. Unless we find maybe the mirror inside Spectacle Rock, yeah, we're going to have to take the long way to Hera.
Yeah, that is a long thing there, and that's just a red boomerang there hiding inside Spectacle Rock. I don't think anybody is going to go out of their way to pick that one up at this point.
No.
If we didn't have flippers, maybe, but
yeah, that red boomerang has kind of increased its value lately with all of the splash deletion and Ancilla shenanigans you can pull, but at this point there's no real need to go get it. But we do get a look at the shovel spot, which has 10 bombs.
10 bombs is alright, except you already had 10 bombs, so it's one of those things, you want that in the early game, you know?
Right.
Paradox Cave bottom or top of Paradox Cave, or however you want to refer to it there, just only had looked like 21 rupees, which not really what you're looking for, but we got 5 more chests back here protected by some annoying Moldorms. Gives us a piece of heart and the fire rod, so there is a large item right there.
That gives you access to complete Skull Woods, and Sick Kid here with $50, so Rascal breaking the piggy bank and making off with the change from Sick Kid. decides to activate the flute and has full mobility over all of the light world now.
Yeah, that's going to make Rascal's routing a little bit quicker in a lot of ways there. As Scrub also picked up the powder out of Mini Moldarm Cave. Mini Moldarm Cave. Paradox Cave, also featuring Moldarms.
Yes, also has some mini Moldarms, but hey, having the powder and the hammer, when he turns in the bottle, could also go check out the magic bat. So today, Floating Island though just has $20, and as you mentioned, Hera is likely to be the first crystal. ScrubCasual heading into Hera in just a moment.
Ooh, cool. And we get to see exactly if these guys have been training on their Herapod shenanigans here. Probably just a minute now. Hopefully we'll find a big key here so we don't get to play that nasty game of, all right, should you Herapod when there's a big key in the back of the back basement of Hera?
Well, there it is.
All right.
And actually, that's kind of the perfect time to do Herapod because you have no risk of leaving the big chest behind, and you just head to the floor right above it.
Yeah. Looks like Scrub is deciding that that's not something he wants to do. I mean, Herapod does save you a little bit of time there, but it is it can be kind of finicky, and if you don't get it immediately, it really is not going to save you a huge amount of time here. So this is, I mean, while this could be a bit of a time loss, it wouldn't be anything substantial.
It is a trick you have to be comfortable with in order to execute in a race setting. All right, but the chests in the top floors of Hera include a quarter piece of heart, and gonna bomb over this gap for the big chest.
That Moldarm is getting awfully close. Ooh, and down he goes. That's a 2-floor drop.
It'll be the spark that gets you, and yeah, all the way back to the opening floor.
That is a shame right there. It's one actually further kind of advantage of the Herapod is that if you do it, you can actually go and hit the star switch up on that 5th floor as Rascal picks up his fire rod out of Paradox Cave. You can hit that star switch on the 5th floor and drop directly to that big chest, which kind of makes it so that you can avoid having to do that kind of annoying bomb jump where it's not hard if you're holding your sword out, but at the same time, especially if one of these Dodongos is shooting fire, you can get lag that will throw off your timing, and there's all sorts of nastiness that can result from it here. And it looks like he's just going for the traditional drop down the hole opening now.
Yeah, if you get burned once, maybe play it safe, just like Scrub did. But there's a lot of technical things that could go wrong, just as you're mentioning.
And looks like for all of that effort there, it looked like he just got 50 rupees, so he's probably not too excited about that at this point.
I think the only positive that came out of there is we found both items, so no need to head back in after beating Moldarm, which Scrub is at the top of the tower and has this hammer out to make quick work of the tail as soon as he gets out of the way.
Yeah, he's being kind of cruel right now. Now, on Scrub's side, I'm going to be a little nervous there because that's not a lot of health, and Moldarm is annoying at the best of times.
At the best, yes, he's annoying. At worst, you can take a death here. So just gonna have to be a bit careful. Maybe hold out your sword and poke yourself away so he doesn't hit you and he doesn't knock you off. But first swing of the hammer, it gets connects with the tail and just has to lure him out for a second hit.
And Moldarm is dancing around that hole right now, making it really awkward for him to get there. He got the second hit, and oof, that hammer hitbox. The hammer hitbox is not cooperating with Scrub right there. All right, he's going to dash at him here, curl down, gets his third hit there. That was a very tense Moldorm fight, rewarded with just the key to the basement that he doesn't need, and his first crystal there. That is a 5/6 crystal as well, so that's a nice thing to find early.
Yeah, so that takes care of Light World Death Mountain, maybe minus Ether Tablet. Nothing else we can do up here, so...
Well, we can go do Spiral Cave, so he's going to go hop over there and grab that.
You are correct, sir.
But then
yes,
after
Spiral
that,
Cave
right.
will be the last one we do for Light Death Mountain. And then we're going to probably, do some cleanup. We've not seen Sahasrara. We've not seen Village of Outcasts. Scrub has not been to the Dark World, except for maybe Hype Cave, so there's plenty of options for him.
Oh, definitely. And on Rascal's side there, yeah, he had a nice clean Hera there. A lot less drama on his side. He pulled that out pretty easily and quickly there. And I don't know how the Moldorm clipped into that part of the part of Spiral Cave, but apparently it did. And he's rewarded with his Master Sword. So, all right. That should be a little bit easier times now. I wonder if either of these guys are going to feel comfortable enough with a 5-heart moth fight or 6-heart moth fight in Rascal's case.
Well, with Blue Mail and the hammer is not a bad, it's not a terrible setup for Rascal. With Green Mail, it's a little bit more perilous, so I wouldn't be surprised if Scrub did maybe Village of Outcast and Thievestown before going into Skullwoods at all.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do at this point, for sure here. We're going to get a couple of extra checks there on Scrub's side, as Rascal is showing you exactly why finding that flute so early is so nice. You can avoid saving and quitting pretty much for a large part of the game at this point. So he's going to just make his way immediately into the Dark World here and start knocking out a few more checks.
Yeah, ScrubCasual is taking his chances with the curse from the bat. Today he's going to get cursed with 3 bombs, so it's not a great curse.
Yeah, I don't even have a joke for that one.
I mean, that's what I mentioned, though, is you could route in when you go back to Kakariko, Sick Kid, and Magic Bat, and this just today it didn't work out for ScrubCasual.
Yeah, it looks like there's just nothing much of there for them to pick up today.
All right, but now we get the Village of Outcast checks before we head into Thievestown. Just because you never know, you could find something like the boots or another sword, something to help you with the Dark World dungeons, because Dark World enemies will hit you kind of hard, so you got to hit them hard back.
The Blue Mail makes things easier. If you can find the Tempered Sword coming through here, you're gonna be very happy with your lot. Now, boots. Thievestown is a very, very corridor-based dungeon. And walking it is slow. Dashing through it is a lot more fun.
Yeah, and there are a few places where those boots will come in handy because, as you mentioned, there's corridors, so long, straight, uninterrupted paths for you to make up a bit of time if you have them. And having the hammer coming in here, since we found that so early, you can full clear it and not have to worry, ooh, what did I miss in that big chest later on?
Definitely. The rare Link's House hammer, which is just fantastic to find. Sets up the rest of your trip so much easier, because looking for a hammer for a long time in the game is one of the worst things to have to do, because you're just forced into making pretty bad decisions. or at least uncomfortable decisions.
And the hammer unlocks so much too. So you don't realize it until you don't have it, and you're like, oh shoot, I can't go do this or do that because I don't have a hammer.
My favorite is when you're getting down to the end there with no hammer, and you're trying to figure out exactly where is this thing, and you're having to decide, do I have to go into Ice Palace for it?
It's probably one of the worst places for hammer.
Yeah, that's to put it mildly, yeah.
So making their way up to the attic, Rascal is, and has found the key so far. So, more likely that there is something in there. The small key could have locked itself away in that big chest, but not today. Opening up the sunshine for blind and just finding a hammer in the attic. Question from chat: where was Blue Mail? Blue Mail was in Ice Rod Cave, which Rascal had done, and after Mini Moldorm Cave, ScrubCasual decided to save and quit, so did not get the Blue Mail. Alright, nice health heart container in the maiden cell. So we were talking about 6 heart Mothula. We are at 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 hearts. So it is a good time to take on Mothula once you get out of this dungeon. And there's number 10, so you are loaded for bear for Skull Woods. Right.
This is the reason why you would route something like this, is to go down to Village of Outcasts first, because Mothula with 10 hearts and Blue Mail is a lot more comfortable of a fight than Mothula with 5 hearts and Green Mail. As we take blind into the light and get... Oh, that was a great pun.
These are always so great. Not.
And we're going through our nice scripted fight. Looks like Rascal has been practicing this one a little bit there. First 6 hits, no problem. Takes one little shot there, but takes him down pretty easily. We're looking at a map on blind and crystal number 2.
Yeah, very clean blind fight for Rascal. The script is definitely something that I think any runner would recommend newer runners learn, just because it'll save time. And the unfortunate thing about blind is if you don't get it and you end up dying, the pattern is much more erratic if you have to go fight him in a rematch.
Yeah, dying to blind makes your life just not fun at all. It's at that point you're going in and he's already starting at the top of the thing and you're starting at the bottom. It's a completely different fight.
Yeah, he starts at the advantage. So with those 10 hearts and the fire rod we found up in Paradox Cave, we're going to get a look into Skull Woods. Rascal heading in from the south entrance. And just going straight to the back, going to work his way backwards because he knows he's going to get the crystal. May run into at least one item along the way between these 3 checks back in the back, and makes the front a little bit quicker to go through.
And gets a nice magic drop there from one of the blue jellies. Gives him the chance to just use his fire rod to get rid of those guys. Now Scrub is over there on his blind fight there, having a little bit of more of a more of a difficult time there. Takes him down, though.
Yeah, another well-executed fight from ScrubCasual, so we're all tied up at 2 crystals. Rascal headed back using the bumper to give a little boost. Just headed back and going to get the moth fight out of the way. And Scrub not far behind. Going to take the western entrance though.
Yeah, looks like Scrub is going the long way right there. Yeah, between a few things right now, it does look like Rascal is starting to put himself into a little bit more of an advantage right now, but it's still early. One routing decision or one quick fall could really just take it down and change this whole thing.
Yeah, and it's tough to say. Is there any one thing that is, would cause the runners to converge or diverge? This game is full of many, many small decisions which have a big impact. So if you practice the small things and you execute them well, it will make a big difference. So we'll just kind of see who has the better short game here, so to speak. But something like a real quick molecula fight from Rascal will help tremendously. That was a very nice fight.
Definitely, and Rascal's got that is crystal number 3 already for him. So yeah, he's pulling away here pretty well.
Yeah, haven't found both items yet, so gonna have to go check this item in the bottom of the back, and ScrubCasual has been spending his time checking the front half of it. So we will find all of the items. Just there's a big 20. Whoop-de-doo.
That's not what you were looking for.
I think the best thing you could have hoped for would be the mirror, to mirror yourself out of this dungeon, and then maybe flute away to somewhere else you need to be.
Definitely, because at this point we're still looking through the front of this of Skull Woods here, trying to figure out exactly what are we looking for. Skull Woods is looking like it has a crystal, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, not much for these runners. So that's okay. Still plenty of things for these runners. Still need a few key items in order to open up the world fully. So need the mirror. We'll need the Titan's mitts, and that would really help out with opening up a good path for them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's still a lot that we haven't checked. I mean, we got Dark World access so early, and it was pretty easy there for these guys to just jump in and start finding stuff. But we've not been to Sasharala, we've not checked Eastern, we've not been to Pod. I mean, one of the interesting things that I've seen looking at the pendants for this game is that both Eastern and Pod are pendants. So God knows where our bow is going to be, because that's something that we're going to need to find.
Well, with that configuration, who knows? You could find both bows, in Ganon's Tower if you're so unfortunate.
Yeah, that would be in the basement somewhere.
Yeah.
That's not really what you're trying to find there by any means.
All right, Bumper Cave, just with some more money, so gonna head out of there. Really, my philosophy on this, though, at this point in the game, Pod is always a good decision. It's got plenty of items to check. It's open relatively early, once you get Dark World access. So it's probably one of your better bets to go to.
At this point, yeah, that's likely where I would head as well. I might go through Sasharala first on my way over there, just to see if there's something that's just been sitting in there in a Sphere Zero location this entire time. And if there is, then maybe, yeah, that's what I want to go first. But, yeah, Pod is a pretty good player right now. As Scrub is having a very good time dodging them spikes so far.
Yeah, Scrub is having quite a fight over there, but quick duck here, quick jab there, and Master Sword is not the best one for Mothula, but it's serviceable. Gonna use the magic here.
He's got a full red goo there. He popped it and immediately got the next hit on Mothula. So that'll give him his third crystal as well. And it looks like on Rascal's side, yeah, it's he is headed directly over to Sasharala here. Check what he's got here, and I wouldn't be surprised if immediately after that he's into Pod or Eastern.
Well, both being crystals and both being, locked by a bow. Who knows if one would be better than the other, but Sahasrara holding out on us has a bottle of blue goo and has the ether medallion.
Yeah, so that's where that thing was that I was guessing.
Yeah, not on Zora today, but someone else had it.
Looks like Scrub is going to take a death warp to get out to the front here. And yep, it looks like Rascal's next decision is to head directly into Pod. So we'll have to see what's the choice if Pod turns out to be nothing.
Well, you still have Pyramid to check. You still have Catfish. Not great locations to go check. They're both one-off and not in the way of anything, so you have to be going there with intent. Is there anything else? There's no mirror to go check Swamp. There's no Titan's Mitts to go check Ice Palace or Dark Death Mountain or thereabouts. So we haven't seen desert though, like the desert area, including Agina.
Yeah, I mean it's only one check right now. So I can understand why people don't want to go there. It's just kind of orphaned there by itself. But if that's the thing, then that could be a large part of this.
Oh yeah, that's one of the locations that I think most runners are okay with isolating, especially early on if you can't access desert either through the front door with the book or the back door with the mirror and the mitts. So Agina can wait for you,
I mean, the amount of times that I've checked Agina far too late in the seed and find out that, maybe we're going to be having, that's where my cane was or something else. I don't even want to talk about it half the time. And it looks like we've got a bow-locked Pod over here, so that could be telling you this is not where you want to be.
Very possible. So we do have this bottle glitch, the PCU as it's technically called, glitch, the camera unlock, and using that red potion, unlock the camera so as soon as these mimics get off the screen as a group, the door will open. One interesting thing here, you could find the second of our two progressive bows back here and, kind of be in this weird in logic, out of logic state.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's one of the more fun things about the new well, not new at this point, but the V31 logic is that, yeah, just because it's bow lock doesn't mean there's not a bow behind it.
Right. All right, Scrub. Now freeing the bird from the Kakariko weather vane and gonna get his flute activated. And who knows, you could find something other than, say, this second progressive bow. You could find Mirror back here and then have a lot more access to things like Swamp, or you could find the Mitts and you could have a few more dungeons open to you. Pending the Turtle Rock Medallion, of course.
Oh, it could be really, really fun if it turns out that, yes, actually, we really do need that ice rod sitting there on the lumberjack ledge.
Well, at least ScrubCasual knows where it is. Rascal had not checked the lumberjack in the first part of the game, so does not know that it's sitting there readily available whenever he wants it.
Well, we're going to make our way to the back of Pod and going to see if maybe there's some sort of answer back here, but it is as poor ScrubCasual is just getting bullied by one of those fun murder-dactyls, and he's going for a hammer yump here, and I can't really tell if he's got it there. Yep, and oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay, so some out-of-logic mitts, but mitts nonetheless. That's a great pickup for him.
So that means mitts are behind a bow that is somewhere in Hyrule, which at this point starts making you think, so what was over in the desert?
Right. So what did they have access to before this? We mentioned Pyramid, Catfish, Desert. I don't know if there was really anything else.
Well, there's all of Eastern Palace is still available to all of them. I mean, it's your kind of vague Sphere Zero location that nobody wants to do. So I mean, the bow is sitting somewhere. Yeah, somewhere around here. But those mitts will give you a good amount of information, assuming that you're paying attention. If you're paying attention, that's gonna give you a lot to know there.
Well, credit to these runners. You don't accidentally get into the semifinals of the Challenge Cup, so I'm sure they're both paying attention to every detail that comes across.
I imagine these guys are well versed in everything that they could possibly need here. But at this point, you never can tell. So looks like we're into Meyer right now. We're gonna take a quick look at what's hiding over here. The Meyer medallion today is Bombo, so we got to add that to the list of things we need to find.
Yeah, we are quite a ways here from go mode. We'll definitely need, well, there's a mushroom, so that could hold something, but we will need a bow, the cane, the mirror, potentially some boots, and Bombo's medallion. So we got quite a ways to go here.
Yeah, this could turn into a bit of a walk for these guys, it looks like. We're going to get a quick mushroom check here. Now, we know that at least the first bow won't be here, but something else could very well be. Oh, red mail. I'll take that. Nobody sad?
I mean, as Uncle says, red mail is for cowards, but, I wouldn't turn it down either. I will gladly take red mail.
I mean, considering the last boss of the game is a giant pig, I'm okay with someone calling me a coward. I mean...
And I don't know how much advice I would take from Uncle. Look, he couldn't make it past escape.
Yeah, red mail's from cowards. You get 3 feet outside your door and you die. Yeah, can I take the red mail, please? Red mail is for people who want to survive in GT past 5 minutes.
Indeed. So with those mitts, we're gonna check out the Dark Death Mountain. Won't find the first of our 2 bows here, knowing that those mitts are out of logic, but could still run into one nonetheless. We got Super Bunny Cave. There is Hookshot Cave we can check out, and I don't believe we have enough for. We don't have enough hearts for Spike Cave. Although we have a red goo. We have a red potion, don't we?
Well, yeah, you can sequence break it if you want, but like it's not logical access. Yeah. For logical access, you still need more than that, or I actually believe that they've changed it, and you just need either cape and half magic, or you need the Samaria Brian, Burna. There's the word. But yeah, either way, you gotta. It doesn't look like that's what we're gonna be doing yet, unless he wants to sequence break it. I mean, and at this point, you're up here. You might as well take a look, because Hookshot Cave right now has played out as a giant 0 for you. As yeah, there was nothing in here that you wanted.
Yeah, if you have the chance to go to Spike Cave at this point, you're already up here. Go for it. Worst thing you could probably find though is maybe Cane of Samaria, because then you're up on Dark Death Mountain. Maybe you're thinking, I'll go check out Turtle Rock, which Rascal did not check. Rascal did not check what the medallion requirement is.
I think at this point, if Turtle Rock is an actual thought in your head of something that you maybe need to do, you're just going to hope that that's not the case. And he's going to burn his pot here so that he can make it the rest of the way through these spikes here, and he's going to be rewarded with just a piece of heart. So, you know, not what he's looking for.
All right. So, ScrubCasual also picked up the Titan's Mitts, made his way out of Palace of Darkness, and is going to also check out the Dark Death Mountain. So now the question is, where is Rascal going to go? Out of the few isolated checks he has, well, it's not so isolated, but still out of logic. I'm going to go do Ice Palace.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested what he's doing exactly with his routing here. I mean, it makes sense. Like, he's playing ahead of the logic. I mean, as long as he is aware that, you know, he should have picked up a bow somewhere, and that unless he can mimic clip, I mean, that's another option too. Maybe he's playing that, you know, forget it, I'm just going to mimic clip the things in the mimics in GT. And in that case, well, more power to him. But at some point, I would be considering, where is that bow? And that is a nice Pengator 1 room there on his side.
That was beautiful.
Exactly how you do that when you've got bombs. Really nice play coming from Rascal's side today. He's been really clean with a lot of his boss kills, been really clean through a lot of his rooms. He's doing a really great job so far.
So the danger in doing Ice Palace this early and out of logic is you may have been able to go mode it if you were in logic, or if you held it off and weren't searching for things. So might actually not save a whole lot of time just getting this crystal out of the way if he could have go moded later. And we saw on ScrubCasual's side that the Turtle Rock requirement is also Bombo, so the only medallion we needed today is the one we don't have.
Yeah, so that's yeah, we still got that great where's our items hunt here, because we can't just walk into Turtle Rock today. You're gonna have to actually go and find your Bombos medallion there, as he sees the bad news over in Meyer as well. Yeah, to go back to what you were saying about Ice Palace, though, yeah, if you can, you would much rather go mode this dungeon, because full clearing it is slow. This is one of the biggest differences in between a full clear and a go mode around there. Like Thieves Town, there's almost no difference. Turtle Rock, almost no difference. But go mode Ice Palace is 2 to 3 minutes of a difference there. So
easily,
so if Scrub can find his bow and kind of get himself back on logic, find out that maybe you don't need to full clear Ice Palace, and pick up Mirror at the exact moment I'm saying that, and make everything that I've just said completely moot.
So finding that Mirror, right, goes back to what we were just talking about go moding. This may have been intended to be a much later dungeon. Mirror is a much later item. You may be intended to go mode Swamp Palace. I would not rush Swamp Palace that Mirror at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it either yet. I mean, that would be something I'd be setting up. I'd be leaving myself that for quite a while, because you're not in logic yet. And at this point, you're starting to get a little bit, maybe too far ahead. Mm-hmm. You don't want to get to the point where you're doing, you go in and you do something like full clear swamp yet, because you've left enough available right now that you could actually, that could have been go mode for you. It's not likely, but it's possible. Now, over on Scrub's side, there, he's gonna take the Froggy for a bit of a walk there after he checks Hammer Pigs, as Rascal drops into Cold Stare, and he's gonna use that Fire Rod to break open his shell, and now he's got a fun fight ahead of him.
Well, actually, I thought he was going to get the 3 puffs in the corner and just be able to bully Cold Stare down to nothing, but they got away from him. So yeah, that Master Sword, not great. The only thing worse is the Fighter Sword, and even if he does have Hammer, that hitbox is just obnoxious.
Yeah, and he's got him down there. That was a little bit more of a tense fight than the past couple ones that he did. He's rewarded with his map and crystal number 4. So, you know, good fight there on Rascal's side.
Mm-hmm. So Scrub and cleaning up a few things. So he did Hammer Pegs, which didn't have much, and gonna get Ice Rod Cave, which has our next mail. He's gonna get red mail, just as Rascal has. The Smith also going for a bit of a journey.
All right, and it looks like Rascal might be headed directly into Swamp Palace there.
Yeah, so
I don't know if I like this play.
I don't really agree with it, but I'm not the one in the semifinals, so
yeah,
take
fair.
that for what it's worth.
I mean, I guess the idea here is this makes sense if you look at it from a route where you finish Swamp Palace. That's your other 5/6 crystal. You walk up, you get your. You got a book over there off of the Smiths, but you walk up and you get your big bomb, you blow open the pyramid, and then you start checking what's sitting on the pyramid ledge there, and you walk up to Catfish and such like that, and you can start knocking out a few things. So if you're gonna go about it that way, this is a good route. The other thing is, really doesn't feel like this is a good time to go do left side swamp.
No. No, not if this is way out of logic. Like you said, you're getting too far ahead. You know a bow is somewhere behind you, and you need to find that cane, but who knows if it could have been one of those bow lock locations.
I mean, in his defense, bow does not lock much generally. This case, it is locking the entire game because it locked the mitts. So anything that you found after you got the mitts is just not going to be helpful there. And it looks like we might have gotten a ped check there. And from the boos in chat, I'm assuming we are not going to need that ice rod today. And oh, hi, Bombo's medallion.
Yeah, that was just a heart container, so not going to get that pedestal. But Bombo's medallion is a good find.
So Bombo's medallion there being on the ledge means that it's also not in swamp either. So we're about to, but with Scrub being in desert, we're going to find out real fast if we're also looking out for boots or not in just a second.
Yeah, so not in swamp, not in logic, because that book came off of the blacksmith hidden behind those mitts, which were behind the bow. So if you really want to snap back into logic, you're going to have to check out things like Catfish and the Pyramid Ledge. But I don't think either one of these runners are really concerned about it, especially with both of the bow dungeons being pendants. So they're just going to keep on pressing on.
Yeah, and it looks like we might not have needed boots this time. But what was that first one that I didn't quite see what Scrub picked up the first one? It looks like it must have been the big key because he's on his way back to the other side. Or maybe I'm wrong. I glanced away for a second.
I see it either. I was watching Rascal as I was speaking.
All right, so just bombs on the torch here. So yeah, we're not boots locked here at all. So that's kind of good news if you like walking.
I thought boots were made for walking.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. But unfortunately, it looks like that's not what they're going to be doing today for us. All right, so Landmo's got our last item here, and so we are with that red cane there in the waterfall room of Swamp. That puts us in no mode on this side of the screen here. Now for Rascal and for ScrubCasual, they've still got a little bit of work to do. They got to find a bow on top of a couple of, on top of one item each there. But for Rascal, he's in a better position for sure, I'd say.
He is in a really good position. So I believe there are only two places that first bow can be, which we've mentioned. But other than that, you are in no mode. No need to go to Eastern. No need to go back to Helmasaur and forget about Aghanim hiding the ice rod at Lumberjack. Just find that bow and do the rest of this game.
Yeah, like if you're a Scrub fan right now, you're gonna really, really, really hope that he makes that Ice Palace dip here sooner than later. Oh, that was a great kill on Rascal's side there. The 4 fire rod shot with a tempered sword as his reward even then. So his life just got a lot easier.
And actually, we haven't seen Eastern, so forget what I said about being only 2 locations. There's all of Eastern Palace we haven't seen, but still, very limited number of places that boat could be.
And it looks like Rascal is going to run that route that we had talked about just a couple of seconds ago. He's going to go pick up his big bomb here. And Landmolus on Scrub's side there drops a bottle of blue goo there. So he's up to his 4th crystal there. Still 1 crystal behind Rascal right now, who that early flute really gave him a pretty good advantage, it looks like. And just some general great play, some good execution on his side.
All right, so doing this this big bomb would be a great time for him to check the pyramid ledge and see if that has our bow. Or just $20.
And we also got some information from Scrub. It is not in Agina's cave either. That was just looked like a 300 there from him. So did there. Fat Fairy giving out blue goos there. That is friendly.
Yeah, might as well fill up, save some money, save some time going to the potion shop, and get those for free. Now, with that Bombos medallion picked up from Ledge, looks like we're headed into Mire, but ScrubCasual has not been to Swamp Palace, which has the cane, so he won't be able to complete this.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is just going to put him further and further behind, and it looks like Rascal is going to check. What's it called here? Graveyard Ledge. Bow is here. It's not the first bow. It's the second bow. So this is probably not really going to help him.
Yeah, if it were me, I would almost bet on that second bow being in Ganon's Tower, or even a pendant dungeon that I don't need to go to. So I would try and get back into Logic as quickly as I could. So we've already checked Pyramid Ledge. There's Catfish, and then we have Eastern Palace to check if we want to find a bow.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question here, is after Catfish, assuming Catfish doesn't have a bow, is we will know very quickly if Rascal has been paying attention to the Logic. Because if he has been, then he should know that I need to go to Eastern immediately, picks up his bow, and he will effectively be in go mode without actually knowing it.
Mm.
All right, Big Fish, what do you got for us here? Ooh, he's giving him flowers even. He's being nice to him today. No rocks for the Catfish today. Oof, well, flowers for the heart makes sense, right?
Yeah, he was kind in return, but it's unrequited love. Rascal ignoring that quarter piece of heart, and also headed into Mire, equipped with that red cane, can fully clear it, so he will be in a better position in this spot right now.
Right, and it looks like what is going to happen here is he's going to pick up that. I don't think Rascal has gone to Agina yet, so for him, I think he's still kind of checking off things as long as while he's kind of checking some other stuff too, seeing if he just gets randomly lucky. Sees just a fire shield there, and that's not going to be picked up at all. Or maybe not. Okay. Now,
interesting that he checked the ledge, then fluted back, rather than using the mirror he has to go check it anyway, do desert, and then come back. But I guess he didn't realize that it would be Mamo, so he didn't really know he could go into Meyer anyway, not having that yet.
Now, the other thing he could be doing here is he could be assuming that there is a bow locked in the basement of GT. Because as we all know from the Big Key guessing game, there are 22 items in the basement of GT, or 22 chests in the bottom of GT, and really decent guess that you'd find another bow somewhere in there. But that being said, that is kind of a trick to deal with there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looks like Rascal is going to be working his way through desert here. He'll pick up a couple of things. And over on Scrub's side, he is right now still looking for his next step there. At some point, he's got to go make his way over to what we assume is Eastern Palace to get himself into Logic here. Instead, he looks to be this. I'm guessing this is a purple chest check over on Scrub's side. And since we've got runners kind of doing a couple of things that probably aren't really going to help them too much. I mean, Rascal's going to be picking up a crystal, but we've seen these items before. If you could, go ahead and try to give these runners a follow here. Their information is in the chat right now. If you could, go ahead. They would really appreciate it. They've gotten to the semifinals of the Challenge Cup tournament, where they have been putting on quite a show for us here. It's been a pretty interesting and entertaining match so far, as ScrubCasual pulls out his purple chest there, and he's going to be making his way to turn that in, and seeing if he can get lucky and land a bow out of that. And on Rascal's side, he's making his way back to Landmo, and he'll take out these 3 worms and get himself his 6th crystal. And purple chest had half magic, so that's a good find right there.
Yeah.
Also, big shout out. Oh, sorry,
not a total waste of time there.
Yeah. And it looks like Scrub is going to be the first one into Eastern Palace here, so he's making what we believe is the the likely play at this point. Asherala, oh boy.
Yeah, we'll take care of the sage first. Imagine this. Vanilla bow into vanilla boots off of Sahasrara.
Oh, I could 100% see that. Turns out that this is one of those cases where you wanted to actually go into Eastern Palace early. Imagine if you start the game, you open up your map immediately and you see that Eastern is a green pendant, and you decide from just moment one, you know what, let's go rush Eastern Palace. Let's pull that kind of play out there. You probably would have hit go mode about 20 to 30 minutes ago.
Pretty close. Yeah, that's a play that few people would make knowing it's a pendant, but if you make it and it works out for you, it looks genius in hindsight.
Definitely, and with this being game 1 of the semifinals here, I can definitely see a tendency on both sides to maybe play a bit safer. You know, don't make the crazy, wacky plays kind of like that. I mean, if something like that works, fantastic, but there's also the much larger probability that Eastern Palace had nothing. And you just wait full 2 minutes running around in it.
And there's the bow that's been available to us for pretty much ever. And now ScrubCasual has gotten back into logic, needing that bow to get those mitts, to get that book. So he is back in the logic and can pretty much go mode the rest of this. Does need to get that cane out of Swamp Palace, out of the waterfall chest.
And what's more, though, he needs to get that mirror out of Ice Palaces. That's the one that's hurting him the most right now. Like, if you're rooting for Scrub right now, what you want so badly is to see a save and quit immediately. And it doesn't look like that's what it is. I'm a little nervous that he might go and complete this entire dungeon and go turn in that green pendant.
We had French vanilla bow. Maybe it's vanilla boots, like I had predicted, and that would be pretty good for him. Because who knows if Rascal would go this far.
I mean, we could still be looking at something like the key is on the torch up in GT, which would be fun. That would be a fun find there.
Yeah, if you don't get Aga and you don't get a pedestal seed, the least Chat can hope for is a Ganon's Tower with the big key on the torch. So, it's all about Chat in this case, right?
Exactly. All of the masses and masses of people that are actually in chat right now. Thank you for joining us tonight, though, on this semifinal time.
Well, Scrub is going to full clear Eastern Palace.
Yeah, this is what I was kind of afraid of here, and it looks like Rascal is not finding a bow in this, so his way back to what's his face, Vitreous back here, eyeball guy, and find a not overly difficult fight, but it's a lot easier if you've got bow, if you've got silver arrows or something like that. He's got tempered sword, and that's about it. A couple of bottles.
Even cape would be nice in this case because you can just kind of cheese the fight that way.
Yeah, if you have cape, Vitreous becomes an absolute zero for you. You can just put the cape on and walk up and smack him over and over and over and over again.
So unfortunately, Armos Knight's got a bit away from ScrubCasual, went through the full cycle, and now he's going to hit enraged mode, has to hit him with 3 more arrows, takes him down, but gets that green pendant, and being so close to Sahasrara, gonna turn that one in pretty quickly.
Now, this race can still turn on a dime here, depending on what Rascal does immediately after fighting Vitreous. Like, if he goes to GT, he's banking on a bow in one of those first 22 chests. If he goes to Eastern Palace, this is his game to lose at that point. But he's going to have to first get through this not a lot of fun Vitreous fight, going for the classic NMG strats of taking one single heart of damage on the goo and then spin slashing the eyes, because as you can see, they go away very quickly when you do that. Yeah,
and you would rather take the damage on the slime puddle than the eyes, which do, maybe 2 to 3 times more damage.
Yep, and a couple of spin attacks there has taken down Vitreous, and he gets a compass for it, so there is no bow in Misery Mire. Now that is his 7th crystal. But he's not in go mode yet.
Yeah, so we had a question in chat. What does he need the bow for? So the bow actually locks a few bosses. So he it does lock the boss in Eastern Palace, which ScrubCasual just beat, and it locks the boss in Palace of Darkness. But it also locks several, or at least one room, two rooms rather, in the Ganon's Tower. So in order to get past that, logically, you would need to have the bow. You can clip those, you can glitch those enemies, which are only vulnerable to the bow, out of the way, but it's not in logic. The randomizer does not intend you to do that. So the bow is something that you are pretty want to find here.
And it looks like we have decided to get our big key guessing game in because Mr. Rascal is on his way up to GT, it does look like here. So if you want to, go ahead, get your guesses into chat for where do you think that big key is in Ganon's Tower here. Numbers between 1 and 22 there. Lumaga, what are you thinking today?
Well, I've already put my guess in chat, and I'm going to go with 9, which is not my normal one, but the normal one does not work out for me, so I'm going to change things up a bit. And how about you?
I'm sitting here thinking about it and considering. I'm going to be kind of almost mean here. I'm going to put 2 in, just because you would have a go mode GT if you had bothered to go find if you had bothered to go get the bow before.
Now, for the big key guessing game, let's suppose that it is on the torch, and Rascal does not have the boots here. He is going to have to go back and find those. That is not very fortunate for him. But regardless of who gets the big key first, if there's a route divergence, we are going to go by Rascal's location, big key in Ganon's Tower, if it's torch or not, right? He's being the first one to enter Ganon's Tower.
Yep, and here we go. We're headed into GT right now. So if you're a Rascal fan, you got to start hoping to see that bow here very, very quickly. Because ScrubCasual is making his way through Ice Palace, so he is going to get his mirror pretty quickly, and that is that is funny actually.
That is really funny.
The first chest.
Yeah. So Hope Room having the boots and not much else, but more importantly, not the big key. So we're on to the left side, where we will start with number 3 on the torch. Just a small key.
Okay. Next up on our tour of the basement of GT is going to be the Stalfos room over here. Once we get into it there, 3 Stalfos and 4 chests in this room. Gets a little bunk over and finding out that chest number 1's got our Cane of Berna. Chest number 2 is a small key. Actually, this is chest number 6 there. And then chest number 7 is a bloopy. So that's 7 chests down out of 22 with no bow.
Yeah, worst case for Rascal is there's no bow in the rest of these chests, which means it would be somewhere in maybe Turtle Rock or, I don't know, locked by Helmasaur or Left Side Swamp. So it's still a race. There's nothing saying that Rascal is running away with this until he finds that bow.
Right. Yeah. Rascal is definitely in the lead right now. But there's a hefty but on that statement. As he pulls out chest number 9 is just the compass for GT as well. Scrub as working his way kind of slowly through gonna have to make his way back up through the through Ice-T here and up his way to find the mirror that he's looking for. And there is a bow for Rascal, so that should probably do it.
All right, he got bailed out kind of big there. Took a risky gamble going into Ganon's Tower without a bow. But with that, heading back towards the right side rather than finish out Ice Armos.
I have to admit, I haven't seen that play. Usually, that sort of route, usually you go all the way back to Ice Armos and then come back. But this is gonna work too. It's gonna be a little bit longer, but at this point, he has time to spare. Oh, he might miss this door though. Oh, just made it. All right, I have lost count of what keys that is, but whatever key that was the winner there. I want to say that was like, yeah, that's sure, 15. That'll work.
Yeah. Our free streamer, Ridley Dragon, saying that it is 15. So congratulations to Yoinker's wife, who is actually our tracker. I don't know, the crew on the restream and commentating and tracking team winning. I think the fix is in here.
Oh, you know it. I mean, who's going to complain? Who's going to stop us?
Exactly. We can do whatever we want, right?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us again.
You
right?
So, actually, as we're mentioning it, thank you to our restreamer Ridley Dragon, who is, so kindly and diligently keeping this running for us on Zelda Speedruns. Give him a follow. Give Zelda Speedruns a follow while you're at it. Thank you to Yoinker's wife, who is our big key guessing game winner here tonight, who is also our tracker. And thank you to Days Cloud. Give both of these two a follow. And I am Lou Maga. You're welcome to give me a follow if you like. I don't recommend it, but go for it.
And we're working our way through the gauntlet here, and this is a kind of a lower hard gauntlet here for Rascal right now. He's down to just over 2 hearts there, doing some pretty nice laser dodges, as it looks like over on Scrub's side there, he's about to break open Cold Stare.
Yeah, half magic and pretty full magic bar. He takes out Cold Stare with a few fire rod beams, no problem, and picks up his 2, 3, 4, 5th crystal. Still needs Swamp Palace and Misery Mire, but still needs to find that cane in the back of Swamp Palace in order to finish out Misery Mire, which he has already visited.
Yeah, so hopefully he just kind of runs his way over to Swamp and immediately jumps in and goes to the back. At this point, it's gonna be hard for it to really make a big difference. Rascal has pulled away a large amount here, and he's probably... It would take quite a bit for him to lose this lead at this point.
Yeah, he is firmly in the driver's seat, as we like to say here on Zelda Speedruns. But there is very little in his way. He's going to have to do a silverless Ganon, which will spend a bit of time, but not too much trouble for someone who is a runner of his caliber. And really had to manage his magic in that last room. Ran out of magic to use the fire rod on that torch, but just enough to use the lamp to light that last torch.
Right now, ScrubCasual is like bouncing around trying to find his last piece of the puzzle here. It is actually in his next dungeon that he needs to go into. And we're onto Moldorm too there, using a little bit of a hookshot strats there to get the iframes and then take the spin to knock him out right there. And we're going to go to Aga 2 now.
Alright, Aga 2, 6 hits with these beams, bounce back to him. There's a double on his first cycle.
Just a single there, and kind of an awkward shape right now. Yep, misses. That's a miss for all of them on that one there. He's going to get the second one there. A nice double. So one more hit should do it. And down he goes.
Yeah, always interesting to see some weird patterns. It's a bit of luck and a bit of skill when it comes to Aga 2. You got to hit the right pattern, and you got to be positioned just the right way in order for it to be impressive. Otherwise, you're just trying to get by and make sure he goes down quickly.
Yeah, the timing involved in getting those shots exactly back to Aghanim is pretty tricky here, as we jump in and find out that nutritionists say that you should eat whole grains, which is something we've all known for a while. And it is on to the Ganon fight, as gets the first 1-1 here and has got him in a nice setup here to just go ahead and take out the next 12 sword slashes here. On to phase 3. Really good start to this Ganon fight.
Absolutely. What happened to phase 1 and 2? He is on to phase 3 halfway through. Just has to make 2 more hits, 1 more hit, and then he'll be on to phase 4.
Yeah, he's going to be setting up for the spin attack here. Got one. Got to be a little careful because he's definitely going to want that torch glitch. Oh, and he's missed it.
Now, I don't remember if he bought potions, but he's going to have to do some magic management here. Being a little bit liberal with that use of the fire rod, which will use more than the torch, but lasts longer. So, gonna have to really watch what he's doing here.
And he's gonna. This is gonna get hairy here. He's got to get 12 spins on him before he runs out of magic here. And with it being out of sync like this, it's just gonna cause it a little bit more here. He probably can get 2 this round. Yep, looks like he got 2. He should be fine because I believe he's got a blue potion left. Yes, he does. Okay, so he's all right. Ooh, he's missing though.
Well, he burned through half of his magic trying to light one of those torches. So, gonna again have to be really careful about his magic use. But has that spare potion.
And down he goes.
All right.
So
GG's in chat.
Yeah, definitely. That is a finish there from Rascal at 1. Assuming he crosses this little board here. Sorry, a little ahead of myself. That is a finish from Rascal with an SRL time of 1:33.25. Get your GGs into chat as he takes game 1 of the semifinals between him and ScrubCasual.
Hello.
And we're joined here in the booth by Rascal and ScrubCasual. So GG's to both of you, and GG to Rascal for taking game 1.
GG.
GG's.
So what'd you guys think?
I would ask you the same thing. So neither of you went to Eastern Well, Rascal did not go to Eastern and didn't get the bow there for for the whole game. But Scrub, you got the bow, and I don't know. Were you thinking like you were going to run into that second bow, maybe a little bit out of logic in some of the dungeons you went afterward?
So I was talking to Rascal about by the time we had done, or I'd gotten to Hera, and I got really tilted from the one fall. The one fall to Trolldorm just set me off thinking like I'm already behind. So at that point, I went like after I did Thieves Town and Skull Woods, I just started doing all of the orphan checks, everything offbeat when I could have gone to Ice Palace, and that's why I did everything else before Ice Palace.
Yo, Moldorm Falls are so tilting. I've been there. It feels so awful.
Yeah, I had a question for you there, Rascal. Like, so at what point did you decide to go to GT versus finding the bow that turned out to be an Eastern Palace? Like, because you had a choice there, and we were kind of wondering if you had made the decision to just go ahead and run for it, or what were your thoughts there?
I finished Meyer, and I left the cutscene chest, and I was like, I need to find a bow. I checked Agina, and I don't think I really made a decision. I think my fingers like acted faster than my brain, and all of a sudden I was on DM, and I was like, well, we're doing this. And somehow it worked out.
Yeah, we were sitting there counting chests in there, kind of wondering whether or not you were going to find a bow there, and if it had turned out otherwise, it was going to be a brand new game there for sure.
Yeah, it was very anxiety producing. You could probably tell in my GT my GT routing going to tile room and just bonking against the locked door.
Yeah.
And some of my execution, I was so frantic to find it, and whenever I finally found it, it was like I almost just mirrored there and was like, "Let's go!" And I didn't have a big key.
Speaking of GT routing, that's the first time either of us have actually seen somebody go to rando room, mirror, and then do right side rather than finish Ice Armos first. So kind of a different strategy. I'm not sure what drove that.
I think in my brain, I didn't realize I had a bow. And I didn't want to do Ice Armos without a bow. And I was like, I found the bow, and my brain couldn't catch up fast enough.
That's great.
But it worked out, I guess. I'm very, very happy that I stopped and got a bunch of blue potions from Pyramid Fairy. Because at the end, I was just throwing myself at the game. I don't know if that was obvious or not, but it was true.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, all in all, I think you ran a pretty tight race. I mean, you came in with a 133. That's nothing. That's nothing to be sad about by any means. You were quite. You had pretty good execution, I would say, on bosses and such. How did you feel about it overall?
I think I found swords at the right time. Kind of bailed me out of a crappy Skullwood situation. I was able to clear, West Dark World and just get it over with and forget about it, basically. Did you guys like my stop into the bomb shop a little early?
Yeah, actually, we didn't comment on it, but I did notice that. And it looked like you thought you had 2 red crystals right away before you went to Swamp.
That's exactly it. In typical Rascal fashion, I mistracked and thought that Skull Woods was a red crystal, but it was the other S dungeon, Swamp. But talking to Scrub, I think that we both made gambles, and I just got very lucky. Because I was like, I'm not doing Swamp, left side Swamp. I'm not doing cutscene chests. And I feel very fortunate that it worked. but a very unique seed. I don't know the last time I played a seed like this. It's hard to describe.
I don't know the last time I saw the first bow in Ganon Sour. So
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I mean, to be honest, I think you got bailed out a little bit there, but it worked out for you. So
I got bailed out a
good,
lot.
Good gambling on that.
Thank you. It was very fun though. I liked it. I think that our next match is gonna be tomorrow night. Is that?
Yeah, we were gonna say 9 p.m. start time for us, so 9:15 restream.
I'm sure we'll get a group of people willing to get on that. Now, Scrub, are you going to be changing any settings in that for us?
I'm gonna keep it open. I like this open settings in general, and I'm not upset with how the run went tonight. I think I just kept doubling down when I shouldn't have, and we'll see how my decisions work out tomorrow.
No, I think you gotta play that way. It's so fun to play that way.
I bet you want me to do that again after how it worked out tonight, huh?
Maybe a little bit. But I agree, open is probably the most fun, and I also think it's the most fun to watch, but that's totally personal preference.
Yeah, there was actually quite a bit of divergence in here. The early part of the seed was generous enough for you to say go to Dark World. Actually, Rascal, you went to Dark World, and then Scrub, you went to
Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, Hyrule Castle, and then you were the first to go to Death Mountain. So it was great to see just enough items available to give you that divergence, rather than see the same thing. I don't think there was ever a point where you crossed each other's tracks and there was no new information. It was actually a really good seed to see.
We had, a steady stream of items at the beginning, and then it felt like it just stopped, like someone turned the faucet off until ice. And I got lucky that I went to ice early. But I almost died at Cold Stare. I almost pooped my pants on Cold Stare.
Well, any final thoughts from either of you guys about the race or this about the seed or anything in particular?
I'm anxious to watch it. You guys say it's a good race, and the convergence and divergence. I'm curious to see how it worked out and what decisions led to what on Scrubs.
Yeah, basically same. I'm always after the race. I go back and watch it like right away. So I'm interested to just watch the race and see how it went.
Yeah, all in all, it was a good race to watch. I'm glad I got to commentate this one. And you both played very well. There were a lot of good technical things to see from both sides. So I look forward to game 2. And, I wish both of you good luck on it.
Thank you. And thank you very much for commentating, guys.
Agreed.
Yeah, be definitely looking forward to seeing this race hopefully tomorrow once we get it on the schedule.
Let's do it.
And with that, I guess we're pretty much gonna wrap things up here. Anything you'd like to say there, Lumaga, before we shut her down for the night?
Sure. Just thanks again to Zelda Speedruns for hosting this. Thanks to our restreamer, Ridley Dragon. Thank you to Yoinkers Wife, our tracker, and of course you, Days Cloud, my co-commentator. So thanks all around to the runners as well for putting themselves out there.
Anytime.
And go ahead, you guys.
No, I just said anytime. Sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
And I guess with that, then, be sure to keep following all of the Zelda Speedrun channels here. There's where a lot of the Challenge Cup races are being aired. Also, go ahead, if you would, follow everybody involved in this. Big thank you to Ridley Dragon for restreaming this, getting this all set up, and Yoinker's Wife again. Thanks for doing all the tracking for us. Runners, great game. See you tomorrow. I am Dazed Cloud, and I will be around and hope to see you guys some other time soon on one of these other channels.